I'm Jen Carlman with InLab News. We are here at the Spigot Innovation Summit, and I'm joined by Ronny Donovan and Brian Gile. Both of you are with JcPenney. You have different roles, so I'm going to kind of bounce back and forth with questions. But Brian, I'm going to start with you. You just kind of took on Spigot a couple months ago. So tell me your role with JcPenney and how that involves working with Spigot and its technology.
So I am the internal communications director, because what we've acknowledged is this is going to be something that we have to educate people about, not only the tool itself, but what innovation is and how we drive innovation into the company, which is a lot of communication, a lot of education. And so I think at some point, now that we figured out that the technology works, because we've been in pilot and now we're ready to kind of move into the business, we've started some pilots with different merchandise groups, and we got some really good learnings about it, but now it's really how do we take it to the next level and build it out to all 150,000 of our associates.
And Ronny, give me a glimpse into really what your role is and what you're working on right now.
Okay, so I am the HR systems director, and my role in this was making sure that we really chose a tool that would allow us to scale out to all 150,000 associates. Clearly when you're talking about that volume, you have to have a tool that helps you with getting the cream to rise to the top. And Spigot was really, we went through a rather substantial selection process, and Spigot was really the only company that could really articulate to us how their tool could help us with that.
Ronny, a follow-up to that, you guys are working on something that you're about to launch or you're working on pretty closely?
Yes, so we started a pilot with Spigot about 3 months ago in one of our supply chain units that has about 1,000 employees, and we are within the next 6 weeks going completely system-wide in our supply chain units, which is about 8,000 employees, the majority of whom are hourly on the floor, and they're interacting with the tool via kiosks in the warehouses.
I would think that is so huge because especially in the retail industry, you probably have a lot of people who feel like their voices just aren't really being heard. So Brian, for you, how do you use this technology to really explain to the people out there that yes, they are part of the decision-making process, that their voice is not being lost?
Yeah, and that's a key part of it. And one of the things we believe is that if you give people that voice, you're going to get the best ideas. And so what we've proven out in supply chain is that if you go to the people that are actually running the things on the floor, the different processes and everything, you get the best ideas. And so what we want to do now is take it to our store associates who are on the floor talking to the customers, because they're the ones that are going to give us the best information and the best ideas that we can take forward to kind of transform the company.
You don't really think of the retail industry as being sort of on the forefront of any sort of cutting-edge technology, but what is your perspective on how this technology and building this platform and kind of embracing innovation can really help your bottom line, can take retail sort of to that next level? And I'll pose the question to maybe both of you. And Brian, I'll start with you.
So what's interesting is we've actually been testing the prediction market, and we went out and we said, okay, if you had these 8 pairs of shorts, which one would you most likely buy, or which one would your customer most likely buy? And so we think there's some real potential there to kind of get out ahead of the fashion trends and make sure that what we're putting into the stores is actually what people want. So we're really excited about that.
Ronny, do you have a little bit different perspective dealing with what, in your area?
No, I completely agree with Brian. I think that anytime you're talking about bottom line results, you either have top line growth, which is what Brian alluded to, and a lot of times on the operational side, there is so much low-hanging fruit that can result in significant expense reductions. And I think the other thing to keep in mind here that we really haven't talked much about, we've talked a lot about kind of monetary results. The other thing we're really looking for here is associate engagement and how we drive that. It's very important to us that when associates come to work, that they bring their whole self to work, and that includes telling us how we can run the company better.
Is there something specific with this Spigot technology that you have identified to say this is exactly going to pinpoint that problem?
So we do an associate survey every year, and this last year we had 93% of our associates participate in the survey. And we have one question on there, and you probably know the phrasing of the question better than I, but the gist of it is, my thoughts and ideas matter. And we're really looking at Spigot to help us continue to improve that number.
I would think that's such a key for so many companies, again, to really make all their associates, whether it's a huge company like a JcPenney or a little small mom and pop place, to make sure that their employees feel like they do indeed matter. Well, it was great talking to you guys. Ronny, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Brian, thank you.
Thank you.